Happy Saturday. I did film some stuff yesterday, but I was in a really strange, like, lethargic mood all day. I only really got 2 things cut out. I mean, technically I got 4 things cut out because it was the New Look waistcoat and the 3-panel circle skirt from the raw silk fabric that I did yesterday. The raw silk needs to be interlined. So the white cotton lawn had arrived, been washed, so I got that ironed. So I traced the 6103 waistcoat. I can't remember the number of it, but I'll have put a picture up here. So I traced out the waistcoat. The only mod that I did to that was I kind of scooped in the back seam because it's supposed to be cut on the fold. I prefer when there's more shaping in the back because I do have quite a sort of like, I do have a sway back to a little bit, to a degree, so I prefer there to be more shaping in there. So I used the McCalls 5193 back panel to give that shaping to the new waistcoat pattern. I only just had enough to cut out both, and I've had to cut the inner waistband of the skirt out of Savannah cotton lawn and the underlayer of the collar out of Savannah cotton lawn, and I'm hoping that with some trimming and understitching that I'll get away with it. I think I will. We shall see. If it ends up looking terrible, then I can finish it without the collar, but the whole point of doing this one was that I wanted the collar. Also, this fabric will not tolerate having buttonholes put in it. I have a scrap here. This fabric will not tolerate having buttonholes put in it. There you can see really well. It looks like Hessian, but it's raw silk. It's not like super soft, but it's really much softer than it looks, which is one of the things I like about it. It was, like I say, an experimental fabric that I saw on Stitch Fabrics just as raw summer silk, and I'm cutting it out in November. But yeah, I just thought, you know what, I'll give that a try, and I do really like it. So I'm interlining every single piece with white cotton lawn. So I ended up cutting out my 3-panel circle skirt. I think I've just said this, but never mind, let's say it again. 3-panel circle skirt, waistband, and the waistcoat. So I had to cut them all out of the cotton lawn and all out of the thing. So technically I've cut 4, and then I had to cut a lining for the waistcoat as well. Although the pattern is unlined, I much prefer a lining, so I did that out of the Savannah Lena crepe because it's not too, it's slippery. It's got a sheen to it. It's not like super slippery like the satin linings that I would usually have used, or the silk linings, but it's more slippery than if I lined it with cotton lawn. And I have a fairly decent sized piece of Savannah cotton lawn left. Not enough to do a top. I was thinking I might get a by hand London and a top out of it. Probably not, but I will be able to make some underwear out of it and stuff like that. So that's it's back in this little cubby hole here. I also, out of my 5 meters of white cotton lawn, got the lining for my pleated and gathered skirt, which I am going to do with this embroidered cotton. Yes, these are very summery things. I was debating this the other day, and I think I cut it out of the waffle because I think the waffle ended up being like 25 minutes, but I was trying to decide whether I kind of put the Savannah collection to the side because the majority of pieces that I want to make next are fairly summery, like the linen chambray trousers, that skirt, the raw silk skirt, things like that. Do I put them aside till next spring summer? And then I just thought, you know what, no, because I've got other collections that I want to do next year. I'm just gonna make these things, get them done. They're gonna look really strange when I photograph them. These ones I'll photograph inside. There are parts of the Savannah collection that are totally fine for winter, but there's gonna be bits that are just like, that's really summery. But I was supposed to start sewing this in August, and August and September, I think in total I made like 4 things in those 2 months. They were not great months. Not great months at all. Never mind, I started the Savannah collection in October. It's going to be just going through to the rest of the year. So I've got, there is a lot of wintry appropriate stuff. I've decided I'm not going to use the old gold needle cord for the Sorrento jacket. I'm actually going to use the green denim that I've got from Lady McElroy for the Sorrento jacket. I hope I have enough. I think I've got 2.5 meters of it, so I should be good. I'm gonna use the green denim because I already have a Lupin jacket in this pumpkin spice coloured fabric down here, which is a cotton twill from fabric.com. So I've got a skirt in that and a Lupin jacket in that, and I just thought if I do a jacket in the old gold, that might be a little bit much. So I'm going to do a green one because I don't have a green cropped jacket, and I know, again, we're coming into the colder months and I probably ought to be thinking about making a proper winter coat rather than a denim jacket, but this is me we're talking about, and as I've just said, I'm just going to get this done because otherwise it's just never going to get done. And I'm going to use the old gold cord for a pinafore type dress that will work with over all of the shirts that I'm going to be making. That waffly ramble word vomit is 6 minutes, and it brings me up to got my coral viscose Marrakein out. I have 5 meters of this. I have decided that I am going to do my experimental 9345, turning it into a shirt, proper shirt. Not with one with ties, but with like an extension below the waist. I'm going to do it with this fabric with the giant sleeves. I think it's going to work, and I can get more of this fabric if I fluff it up. So I'm also going to do a half circle skirt with this. I need to line this for a skirt because it is ever so slightly sheer. This is the same as the red fabric I used for the dress that I made last month before? No, yeah, would have been in August, beginning of August. Yeah, this is the same fabric as that one, and that I didn't line that skirt and I really needed to. So I'm hoping I can squeeze I've only got 5 meters of fabric, so this might be a big ask, but I'm hoping I can squeeze a half circle skirt and the shirt out of this. If there's enough to get a lining for the skirt out of this as well, that would be great. But otherwise, I am going to place another order with the Fabric Room for 10 meters of the white or the ivory viscose for another set of lining fabrics, because I used the last 10 meters. It's completely gone. I have got some white fabric down here, but it's kind of sheer with a dot embroidered on it, and I was hoping to use that for a dress for next summer. So I need to take that out of there because I don't want to turn that into a shirt. I want all 5 meters for a dress because it's going to be an experimental project for a more expensive dress, or a more expensive fabric that I'm hoping to turn into that dress. I need to get some more white viscose. Yeah. But I can still get the circle skirt cut out of this and the shirt cut out of this, not a problem. That's what I'm going to get done today. I'm going to also get this prepped for making into a pleated and gathered skirt. So that just means that I need to cut it to the right length that I like my skirts, cut the waistband out, and then put that to the side. So yeah, feeling quite energized today. I went to bed really early last night. Wilson and I hung out and watched a couple of movies together on FaceTime. I ended up not being able to finish the last movie. It was about 10 o'clock and I was falling asleep. I was in bed asleep by 10:30. She woke me up at 4, but not for very long, and then I woke up again today at 9. Usually mum and dad wake up up a lot earlier than that, and they're kind of pottering around wakes me up earlier, but today I slept right through everything, so I'm feeling much more energized now, which is great. It's also laundry day, so I've only got my purple tights available, which is why I've put this dress on. I think this is the 7892. I have done a sew along for this dress. I do really like this dress. I should wear it more often, but yeah, I do have a definite lack of dresses with long sleeves that aren't my scuba dresses, and I haven't got those out yet because I'm trying to decide whether I do a wardrobe clear out as a video, which will probably end up being quite a long video and maybe even a 2-part video, or if I do it during a live hangout like I did last time. The thing is, I think it would be quite a popular video. Whilst they're kind of like, I know some people kind of put the hangouts on to watch back in the background, they yeah, I think the subject matter would be better as a standalone video. So I've got to work out what I'm going to do for the hangout tomorrow as well, because and basically I'm going to sew tomorrow, so I've got today to get stuff cut out, and whatever I don't get done today will be done in the next cutting out session. So yeah, on that note, I probably ought to shut up and get on with some work then, rather than waffle, because that's 10.5 minutes of waffle. So I'll do that. Wish me luck. Okay, I have the panel for the pleated and gathered skirt cut out of the embroidered cotton. I've got a really big remnant left out of that, and this remnant pile, there are still 3 people on the list, so this will be going to the next person if they are interested. I have, I think, lengthened the bodice of the 9345 into just a continuous shirt. As I say, I'm willing to experiment with the coral viscose Marrakein because I can get more of it if I fluff up. I'd like not to fluff up, but I'm not cutting into the Savannah viscose because I do want to make that shirt in that fabric, but I'm not going to cut into it until I've tested the theory. So I've got that done. I've also thought that I might do the skirt that I want to do from the coral in the actual 9345 skirt panel as well, because I do like that skirt. Oh, mum's calling. 2 secs. Hi.
Hi. You got 3 parcels and 2 letters up here.
Ooh, exciting. I'll be there in a second. Okay.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. I was going up for lunch anyway. It's 11:45. That's exciting. Hopefully one of those is the wool. Oh. Yeah, so I'm willing to experiment with the coral viscose marroquin because I can get more of it if I fluff it up. So I'm thinking the 9345. I like that skirt. It's not as full as I was hoping, but as I mentioned, I only have 5 meters of that fabric and it does need to be lined. I don't think I'm going to get the lining out of it as well because the sleeve pattern piece is giant. You'll see that when I put you back up in the crow's nest in a second. I'm going to go and get some lunch and then I'm going to start cutting that out and also see what these parcels are. I am back with my lunch. So one of my parcels was some more Schmetz sewing needles. These are the 70-10 size. There's 100 in here. It was £25. I had one left. One left. That's another reason I stopped sewing, because I wanted to make sure I could continue sewing. Yes, and I change needles pretty much every project or every 8 hours, whichever is longer. Then the other parcel was the small fabric conditioner, and we get fabric conditioner and dishwasher tablets from them. And then the final one was my wool, which is really, really nice and thin. This is going to be for the cape. So nice and thin, so hopefully it should have some decent drape to it. So this is going to be for the Zimmermann dupe, and I am really excited to get started on that one. So I am probably going to try and start the sew along this afternoon. As I say, I've got the rest of today to get stuff cut out because I'd like to start sewing tomorrow during the hangout, because there will be a hangout and you're not seeing this until Monday, so hopefully you enjoyed the hangout. So I'm going to eat my lunch, get the shirt and the skirt cut out, then onto the cape. Okay, my pile of cutout things is getting bigger. It's about 4:20 and I'm thinking that I might carry on. I got my cape cut out and I think I have made the alterations to it that are going to make it look like the Zimmermann cape. I hope I've done them correctly. I do have a fairly decent chunk of the wool left. I've only got like 40 centimeters, the entire, like the proper width of the wool, but I've got lots of really decent sized pieces left after that, to the point where I'm thinking that if it all goes horribly wrong with the thing that I've done, I have enough there to cut out the facing and the hood the way that they want me to. I've attempted to draft a 3-piece hood and then actually splice half of that hood onto the front. Yeah, I think if I fluffed up, I have enough wool left that I can cut out and just do the cape the way that the pattern suggests. We'll see if it works. We'll see if it works. It could be brilliant, it could be a total disaster. I got my shirt cut out of the coral crepe, and then I've decided that I don't want a skirt from that material without being able to do, like, because it's so floaty, I want the big full skirt, which would mean that I would need to buy a lot more of the coral because I've ended up with just under 2 and a bit meters left. But that 2 and a bit meters should work really well for the 7659. This is going to be a wearable muslin for this one, and I think what I'm going to do is actually just make it up, and because this is technically a sew along, the Patreon Peeps voted for this. 7659, I think I said that. Yeah, the Patreon Peeps voted for this. I'm doing view C. So what I'm going to do is make it up in the coral, get it trace cut out, make it up in the coral, and see how I like it. And if I do like it, which fingers crossed I will, I'm going to make it in either the striped chambray or the gingham, but they are both much more expensive than the coral. And the reason that I'm not going to be doing the sew along with the coral is that there isn't a obvious right and wrong side of the coral. I've tried that in the past with sew alongs, and it really ends up being really confusing, because whilst you can mark the right and wrong side no problem, when I'm doing close-ups of pinning bits together, it's not easy to see. So I want a patterned fabric that is easy to see the right and wrong side, which means probably not the gingham, because that's going to be the right same both sides as well, isn't it? How about, yeah, the chambray. Unfortunately the striped chambray as well also doesn't have an obvious right or wrong side, so I'm gonna have to rethink that. Oh, I've got some feathery fabric that it would look quite nice in, that will work with the corals. Yeah, I'm gonna do it in the feathery fabric. Then I have got some other fabric up here, which is a wool suiting blend from Lady McCalls, funnily enough. It's called Grey Slake. It's slightly darker and maybe a touch redder than the coral, but I do think that they would go together, and so I've decided that I'm going to do this skirt that I wanted to do from the coral viscose. I'm going to do it in the Grey Slake, because I was going to do trousers with those, but I can get more of that if I decide that I like it, and it's got some stretch in it as well, which is going to make it nice to wear. I'm going to do the 9345 skirt in that Grey Slake fabric, and I think I'll have enough to cut out a 5193 waistcoat as well, and I think that's going to look really nice with the coral underneath of it. I'm kind of like, do they go, don't they go, but I like the idea of that, so I think I'm going to get that cut out next. And I'm still really tempted to cut out the Sorrento jacket. It does mean that I need to trace it and do the alterations to it, but I know what I need to do. I know I need a size 10 because I tried Rachel's on at the Festival of Quilts. I need to lengthen the sleeves by 1.25 inches and shorten the body by 1 inch for it to fit the way that I want it to. Now that I've made the decision that I'm going to do it in the green denim, which you can't quite see down there, I'm kind of just want to get it cut out, so I might get on with that next as well. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, it's only 4:20. So far I have, what have I done? Not a lot really. No, I mean, so far I've cut out the panel for this pleated gathered skirt. I have retraced and modified the shirt that I want to do. I have traced out and modified the cape that I want to do. So I've done yeah, that's a decent amount. That's a decent amount. Grey Slake next for the skirt and a waistcoat, and then maybe the Sorrento jacket, see how I feel. Okay, I have traced out the Sorrento jacket, but there are so many pieces that I'm going to need to alter because, as I mentioned, I tried Rachel's on and it was about 1 inch too long. I might actually err on the side of caution and shorten it by 3/4 inch, and then I need to lengthen the sleeves because I would like it to be cropped and actually hit on my waist, and as I say, Rachel's was just that little bit longer. But there is many fireworks going on, so I think I'm actually going to call it a night now and go and sit with Chiana. She doesn't usually care, but I don't know if she doesn't care because I'm there and I don't want her freaking out in the room by herself. It's 6:20 now, so it took me a couple of hours to get that done, which is not surprising because there were lots of bits and pieces, but one of those things. The stash is kind of going down though, isn't it? I am going to use this green Lady McCalls denim, and this happened when I washed it. Apparently it's something to do with too much fabric conditioner in the wash. I've tried washing it again and it's just happened, but it's happened all over and I kind of like it, so I'm going to just embrace it and use it and see how it goes. I am going to line the Sorrento jacket. I know I don't have to, I just prefer lined jackets. I'm going to line the body of it with the Lena crepe in the Savannah print, and then I'm going to line the sleeves in the stripy silk up there, and the rest of that stripy silk is going to be used to line a waistcoat from the Brielle wool that's up there. So I'm going to get that cut out at the same time. I don't want to cut the waistcoat out of the Brielle wool yet though, because I want to make some trousers with it, and I know that my waistcoat pattern pieces are very long and narrow, so they're going to fit in next to where the trouser legs get cut out. So rather than cut it out along sort of like the full width of the fabric, it's going to get cut out along the next to the selvages next to a trouser piece, because the trousers I want to make from that are the sorrel trousers. So can't cut the outer of the waistcoat out yet, but I can cut the lining out, and I want to make sure that I have enough of that silk. I've got 1.25 meters, so I should have more than enough, but I'm going to get the waistcoat ones cut out and then the sleeves cut out for this at the same time. And I think that's going to look quite cool. I don't know if I'm going to ever wear the sleeves rolled up, but I like the idea of like the mustard and cream striped silk showing. It's just again, lining jackets is just a preference of mine. I know denim jackets don't technically have to be lined, but I like how it looks. I like how it looks, and I like how the interior looks, and I don't want to overlock the interior of my denim jacket, and that is just a personal preference. I don't know why that is, but yeah. And I'm thinking, if I'm brave, I might attempt the gold top stitching on this, which will tie in nicely with this, the gold and the silk for the lining. I'm thinking I might attempt it, maybe, we'll see. Yeah, I'm going to actually, like I say, call it a night though, and go and get some food, go and sit with Chiana, just make sure she is okay. It does mean that tomorrow I am going to be cutting out the Sorrento jacket and altering it during the live stream. I've not done a cutting out live stream for a very long time, so that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. As I say, you're watching this on Monday, so fingers crossed it won't well, but we shall see. Anyway, on that note, I have done a lot of waffling today, so I hope you've enjoyed what I've been up to, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye!